we're going to start off by talking about postnatal depression. Now, this was something that featured really strongly in the poll that we did. Obviously, the people that we questioned and asked them about their mental health and how they were feeling. And we thought we'd start off today because it's something that I suffered from and hid. Now, what's really interesting is we are all really talkative women. Yeah. And I've been working on the show for 9 years now, and I had it while I was on this show. And a lot of people, obviously, you'd see me sitting here, and I've been in hair and makeup, and I'm all professional and do my job. Smiling, interacting, being interested and engaged. But what I was doing was literally sobbing all the way home. Oh. And then this is something that I think is very common with most women, because my baby Amy was young when I started doing this job. Get home and you do this, you pull yourself together and you open the front door and smile, because you don't want to burden anybody else, whether it's family or friends or your other half or anything like that, because they're not necessarily going to understand. And I think that
Did your other half pick up on it, though?
No, I was very good at hiding it, but when I mentioned it, and it wasn't necessarily his fault, he couldn't handle it and didn't know how to handle it. Yeah. So I would go, do you know what, it's okay, never mind, forget I said anything, and would zip it up and bottle it up. I'm a very good bottler. Yeah. I should work for a company.
Why do you feel you couldn't tell us even? Because we didn't have a clue.
No, and I worked with you during. I think. Obviously, there's this stigma about mentioning something at work.
As well?
I felt ashamed. I'm the coper in my family. I've always been the strong one. I'm very striving. If I get an idea in my head, I will, I'm a go-getter. And for me, this was seen as a sign of, why am I not coping? I had a baby before. What's the difference?
Because of being a mother as well, so you think, am I a bad mother? Because all of a sudden I'm not coping. A lot of women
what's incredibly interesting is obviously, in the survey, we asked people about why they didn't open up. And I can tell you hand on heart, and this is talking to girlfriends as well, and I spoke to one today because I knew we were going to be talking about this today, we lie. Yeah. You get given all the forms through the NHS and you lie because, one, you're frightened your baby will be taken away from you. Yeah. You're frightened that you look like you're not coping in some sort of way. And even if you know that, that little morsel of common sense in your brain that's saying these feelings aren't rational, you're too frightened to own up about it.
What were some of the things that you were thinking then and feeling?
What were some of the things?
You were thinking and feeling about yourself as a mother and about yourself and about your baby.
I felt that my family would be better off without me.
Wow.
Oh,
I felt that my daughter would be better off without me. I was so ashamed of how I was feeling. And then when I tried to talk about it with, various people in my life at the time, what have you got to moan about? Your life is amazing. Yeah. You're being ungrateful and you're being selfish. These were two that... So, again, you learn to go, oop, OK, right, I won't say anything. So I think... Again, if we're going to be encouraging people like we will, today and throughout this week, if you're encouraging people to open up, you yourself have to know what to say. Yeah. And I think telling someone, but you've got so much to be grateful for, you know that, and that makes you feel worse. Telling someone you're being selfish, that makes you feel worse. And can I just say, it was my lovely friend Donna, who was here today and did your lovely curls. She helped me because we were talking about it, and she said, why don't you go and get some help and go to the doctors? I had postnatal depression for 2 years before I finally went to the doctors. And can I just say, it doesn't work for everyone, and I'm not on them now, but a month later, when your fuse box goes at home and some of the switches go down, they went poof, and they came back up again. And suddenly, I could see colour in my life again. And that's the only way I can describe it. And I mean, it's difficult to talk about now because obviously, it was a few years ago. It's tough, it's hard, but if you're sitting at home in your dressing gown with your baby, feeling dreadful, hang in there.
If you've enjoyed that, then why not click here for more? And don't forget to subscribe by clicking here, so that you never miss out on the best Loose Women moments.
Majority of the letters I get in the problem page are either relationship-based or to do with depression or feeling lost. And having that thing, I've no one to talk to, and I always say, have you tried? And it's like, well, no, because they wouldn't understand.
Absolutely.
And I think it is very, very difficult. I think you have to, when you are the person listening, you have to be very aware